Dragonic Kaiser Crimson deck profile. Yay! So let's start with the grade trees. I run Dragonic Kaiser Crimson a tree. I really only run him a tree because he's only good at late game. Because his skill is LB4 and Legion. And his mate is Dragonic Kaiser Crimson, a Vermilion, which I run a 2. When this card is in Legion, you can select one of your mate's limit breaks, and you don't have to pay the cost to activate its effect. So that makes Vermilion's limit break free. So every turn with this card, you can attack the front row for free. Since it's only limit break, it's only really useful when your opponent has a resist unit, or if you really have nothing else to use for and you really need the 22k power. But overall, it's very good, and I like this card. I'm still only running 3. And 2 of the mates, Vermilion, because you don't really want to ride Vermilion. You just want to use him for the Legion ability. So the next grade 3 is the second boss card of the deck, which is Dragonic Vanquisher. Vanquisher really is the better first ride for me personally, because during your first rides, it makes you retire up to 2 cards and makes conquest turns easier with his on-stride skill, which is to counter blast 1 and bind one of your opponent's front rows. So since you removed one card via Vanquisher, you can remove the other card to conquest effect, and you are now assured of a plus 10k to your whole front row. So next I run is 4 of the 12k attackers. Forgot his name. Heatblade Dragoon. His only really use is so you can have a conquest turn wherein he can attack unboosted for at least 22,000, and that's actually good by itself. Not like you really need anything else with this deck, because this is really just conquest and then attack. So most of my grade 2s are really just units who can attack unboosted, because this is Narukami. You don't really expect to have much boosters as much as possible, because the deck doesn't really have a direct advantage engine other than retire. So next card is personally the best card for me in GBT 2 is Dragonic Dragon Berserker Chatura. His effect is, although he can't attack a rear guard, when he attacks the vanguard, he gets plus 3,000, and if he hits, you get to counterblast 1 and draw 1 card. So during your conquest turn, when he gets plus 10,000, he now attacks for 11k, which is almost the same thing as this guy. They almost do the same thing. At least they can attack for 21k unboosted, and at least Chatura has another effect wherein you can draw 1 card. That's why this card is very good. I don't know. Also, because Narukami has no other direct advantage engine, since he has a counterblast 1, draw 1, that makes him very good on hit pressure. And if he does hit, at least you get to draw 1 card, and you now have an actual advantage engine. So my next card would be Dragonic Death Sight. I run 3 just in case I get to ride Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion or Dragonic Kaiser Crimson first, and I really need to go into Conquest to push for game. Since Vermilion and Crimson's effect won't activate if you're stride over them, you need to have something else to retire for Conquest, and that is what Death Sight is for. You can also use Death Sight to retire something important in the early game, like maybe a Laurel or a Judge Bow. Next for the G1s, I run 4 Mighty Bolt Dragoons. Just really need the stride enablers, and at least he helps you get that important Dragonic Vanquisher for your first ride. Next is 3 Wyvern Strike Piglema. Same reasoning as Chatura and Heatblade Dragoon in the first place. This card can attack for 11,000 unboosted because of his GB1 ability, where he gains plus 4,000 when it attacks. But the only downside is it can't attack a rear guard, so at least you have an 11k booster. You have an 11k attacker if need be, and a 7k booster in one card. That's why I run this card. Next is 4 PGs. Now, why I don't run Anastasia? Because this is a very old deck of mine. This used to be the Blood, and I really want to use old cards just for sentimental reasons. And for other reasons is, you don't really counterblast as much in this deck, so you can just run whatever PG you want. Next up is Rising Phoenix. I run 3 Rising Phoenix. Rising Phoenix is there because your soul is an unused resource most of the time, so at least you get to draw 1 card off of it. And with Narukami's lack of an action of drawing or anything, this card is good because it lets you make use of an unused resource, and if anything, at least you can use it to speed up your Legion and fill your drop zone with 2 cards. Next up is my starter, Sparked Dragoon. Though I really like Sparked Dragoon because, as I said earlier, you really want to ride Dragonic Vanquisher first. So you really need to get that copy of a Dragonic Vanquisher as much as possible on your first turn. So that's why Sparked Dragoon is there, to help you get that important G3 that you want. You can also use Sparked Dragoon to get you just any G3 that you can stride with if need be, or to get you that Dragonic Kaiser Crimson that you can use to end the games with, or retire anything with resist. Now my trigger lineup is 4 crit, 8 crit actually, 4 draw, and 4 heal. Nothing out of the ordinary. Well, and that's my deck profile. Thanks for watching.